All right, so I know I'm late to the party on this one, but about a year ago, there was an argument on YouTube that Ben Shapiro put up claiming that rap is not music. And his argument for that was definition-based, but his definition has not been agreed upon by other people, and you're not going to find the definition that he used in the dictionary if you look up what music is. But his definition is something that contains melody, harmony, and rhythm, and you need those three to qualify as music. This was refuted by a number of people, and I don't want to get in the argument based on the idea of it having to pertain to a definition, because if you've noticed anything in the modern era of existence, it's that definitions no longer mean anything. People will either use a definition and spin it to bolster their argument, or create a new stance on a definition and then get enough crowd appeal to get Webster's to change what the definition is. So none of that matters. Things have fluctuated enough in time where definitions do not apply to anything. And that leaves us in a difficult scenario where we can't really set up parameters to define anything. But if you look at rap in terms of how it is a musical genre, it is clear that there is a difference setting it apart from other musical genres. And I think that this difference is something that echoes what you'll be hearing in modern metal now, as opposed to what you would have heard in classic metal, or really anything metal related before the turn of the century. My issue with rap, obviously I don't fucking like rap, I'm a metalhead, but I can get down with old hip-hop or whatever as a kitschy, kind of genre. Nothing that I'm ever gonna seek any depth in, but something that was fun back in the day. But rap now, at the turn of the century, at the turn of the century, every genre hit the toilet, so it's unfair to pick on rap for this, but it became simply, to my ears, amplified bravado. It became a vehicle for charisma, and people latched on to the charisma of the performer and didn't give a fuck about what was actually happening musically. You saw this a number of times. Like, you still see people supporting Chris Brown. I'm sure they don't give a fuck about what he's doing musically, but despite him beating chicks up and shit like that, he has enough charisma to maintain a fan base. The issue that I find with this is that if your entire approach as a genre is to express charisma or to express bravado, that is a flex that is just innately human and can't really be transcendent in any way. If you're just going to be expressing the most basic human drives, whether it's, sex, money, whatever the fuck, there's going to be that parallel to rock music, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll idea, but there's no room in there to have something that is going to be timeless, because it is just only superficially relatable, and there's just nothing there that will indicate any sense of depth. It's unfortunate that you are seeing that parallel in what modern metal is. Modern metal is all about the flex. It's all about the charisma of the player. It's why the YouTube guitarist is now the face of modern metal. And it's not about what a band is doing or what a band is saying. A lot of these bands, they try to claim that they are part of the death metal umbrella or the tech death or whatever the fuck. But what in their music is expressing death? What in their music is expressing black? Any of those subgenre titles that once had meaning, where are you seeing it? If you put on like an Archspire record, what in that is somehow getting across the idea of death to you? There's really nothing there aside from the flexing of musical techniques, and that kind of that kind of bravado that you get from having, swinging your dick around and being like, I'm the best guitar player, I'm the fastest drummer. That's the same kind of bravado you're going to see in modern rap, where it really is just about getting that inflated ego across through a musical format. And the parallel is also going to be there in the fact that the music is no longer going to be melodically deep. It's going to be simplified and rhythmically based. That's why you see the fan base of modern metal really gravitating towards the breakdown. Everything leads towards the breakdown. The entire structure of the music, the entire structure of the song is just a train heading to that breakdown, because since there is not going to be a catharsis from the riffs colliding with each other and giving the riffs meaning in contrast, the only way that you can get any kind of like dynamic shift to emulate catharsis is by having notey riffs that really do not mean anything clashing with an open note breakdown, which is what you're going to see in all of modern metal now. And that open note breakdown, that rhythm, will harken back to the kind of the tribalistic kind of sense that you get with the rhythm basis of rap music. There's far more in common with in modern metal with rap music now than there is with actual metal. It's a bunch of guys that don't really have a whole lot to say, and they're out there to flex, and they're out there to get the audience to enjoy what they're doing through the use of the stereotypical breakdown. And you didn't see that checklist of ideas happening in classic metal or in any metal before the turn of the century. The idea, I'm not going to go back to that rap isn't music argument. I think that that's a silly argument, but a friend of mine put it together in a way that made a little more sense to me, because obviously there is a difference between rap that sets it aside from other musical formats. He said that rap is not a musical experience. So he was coming across in a way where the ways that you appreciate music are not going to be present in rap, at least in modern rap, because the ways that you appreciate music are going to be tied to that sense of structure and melody, all those ways that you appreciate music that will showcase that there is a command of a language that is getting presented to the audience, where there is something being said that isn't getting just put across by vocals. There is a language that you're hearing, that you're feeling, where there is an expression there. That expression is really not present in rap. And the way that you can experience how a good melody is constructed, whether or not it resolves in a way to showcase to you that there is a conflict, or that there is a climax building, or that there is a dynamic shift, all of that is going to be ignored in rap, at least modern rap, and you're not going to see any of that in modern metal either. The conflict that you can present between two riffs that are not completely aligned in terms of how the melodic structuring is, that's not a conceit you're going to be seeing in modern metal, because it's not important. What's important is getting that flex out of your dexterity, getting the dexterity present to your audience so they can be wowed in a very superficial way, and then providing them with that breakdown to show that, yes, we want to give you something that you can dance to because you have that hi-hat beat that's going to be consistent, to just give them that tribal kind of that need that you get when you hear regular ass basic music that is going to be rhythmically based. So there, to me, there is the reason there is this hatred among older metalheads, or like, the boomer crowd, that people are going to sling that around when they disagree, is because we are picking up on the fact that the tenets of what good metal was, or just metal in general, what it stood for, how it was constructed, are pretty much not present at all in modern metal. But what is present is the ideas that are getting put across in rap instead. And it's surprising, because before the only comparisons from metal to rap before were in like the new metal genre, and now it's in the modern metal genre, which despite being rooted in instrumentation and flashy technique, it's still coming from that same basis of needing to flex, needing to get that charisma on display. You know, people now are trying to relate to the player, and you'll see people like Dean Lamb have their their YouTube channel, Ola England. People want to relate to the player. They want to see your show. They want to try to find things that are in common with you to give their own output some kind of significance, to be like, oh, I'm just like that guy. I have things in common with him, so now I have this kind of dignity as a musician. That kind of shit it's really unfortunate, because you're trying to filter out what should be an organic artistic statement through the work of someone else. And that someone else most likely doesn't have the spirit of the metal genre being on display, and you have this kind of Ouroboros of eating your own tail, trying to search for an idea to showcase that you have a strength in the metal genre, when that idea is not really present in the guy that you're trying to rip off. And you know, obviously with how rap has declined, you know, there's been rhythms that you pick up on in modern rap, that triplet, you know, you hear like one guy do it, and then they all do it, and then the mumble rap scene happens. They're all kind of trying to emulate style and not substance, and that's also a modern metal thing. It's really just all collapsing in on itself, and that's why you see older guys like me pinpointing the rationale that this is not really metal anymore. It doesn't subscribe to the same tenets of the genre. It's coming from something else. And that something else is that innately human drive to prove yourself when you don't really have much to say, which is more in common with modern rap. So that's about all I have to say about that. Thank you for listening.